Hello there. Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard. And you know, it's not too often I stray into the 1970s, and in fact I've done a Pink Floyd concert poster from the 60s already. But boy, I'll tell you, who can resist the allure of Pink Floyd in 1972 when they were first performing Dark Side of the Moon in concert? Because what an important record that is to all of us rock-loving baby boomers. Wow. May of 1972, to be specific here, in Berlin, Germany, when the wall was still standing at the Deutschland Hall. Now, European concert posters, if you're a collector, you know, they're sort of notorious for having been reprinted, you know, at an early stage and appearing as merchandising posters and everything else. But that doubt was erased for me when I obtained this directly from an American serviceman, an American who was a serviceman back in '72, stationed in Berlin. And he went to this and several shows and would always keep his ticket and take down the concert posters. So, first-hand knowledge, this is absolutely a first printing done before the show to sell tickets. And I will show you his ticket, by the way, in just a moment. So this one's a little over 23 inches tall by about little under 33 inches wide. And no printer's credit, interestingly, is given. And you might notice it is brown and white. It may at first have looked like black and white to you, but it's, you know, brown or sepia tone and white in color. Now, the poster designer was Ari Forster, and he took what I feel is sort of an intrusive credit on this poster. Instead of being, you know, buried down at the bottom and stuff, which is common with these things. Notice how he's given his own line right between the shoulders there of Nick Mason and David Gilmour in the middle. See how it's isolated all by itself? You know, and he could always argue, well, you know, I put it at the very bottom of the credits, but it would have just been much less intrusive if it had simply been moved up and been included in one of these two paragraphs. So maybe I'm nitpicking, maybe not, but, you know, I just think it's a bit invasive, and I actually bring him up in another Berlin concert poster as too for the same crime. So that's, I suppose it's a matter of opinion, but I've seen a lot of concert posters, and that's just my opinion. So, if you know Pink Floyd, and of course you do because you're watching this video, you know how they were known for working out new material live in concert before going into the studio to record it. So, the Dark Side of the Moon tour is considered to really have had two legs, 1972 before they recorded it, and 1973 after they released it. And funny enough, on this first leg, before they recorded it, it was actually known by a different title. How about this one? Eclipse, parentheses, A Piece for Assorted Lunatics. That's right, that's what it was called. And of course they settled on Dark Side of the Moon and used the term Eclipse excuse me, for the 2-minute closing track on the record. And also on this first leg they would come out and perform the new material, Dark Side of the Moon or Eclipse, first, and then do old familiar stuff, whereas on the second leg of this tour in 1973 they would of course close the show by playing the entire album because everybody was dying to hear it by that point. And so, as previewed, let's take a look at this goodie. And as previewed, boy, look at this nice large ticket stub, almost entirely intact. This thing measures about 3 by 5 inches. And as you can see, it does say on there, Thursday, 18th of May, 1972. And it's always great on your ticket stubs to have every letter of the band's name on there. That's just wonderful. Now notice there's no seat location. It was a general admission show. Also, there's an interesting anti-counterfeiting measure taken by the ticket printer. In the background, over and over, something like 80 times, it does say in all capital letters in green ink, Deutschland Hall, Berlin. Now, 1972 was a really busy year for Floyd on the road. They had already played England, Japan, and America, and the first part of 1972 before this. And this was one of just 2 shows in West Germany, as it was known at the time, this spring before breaking to record the Dark Side album. So they had 2 shows this date, May 18th in Berlin, and then 3 days later at a festival in Germersheim called, it has an oddball name to it, the Second British Rock Meeting. I don't think there was a third. It was, you know, sort of a weird weekend. And, you know, if you know me and have seen a lot of blogs, I love to have a surprise up my sleeve. Well, guess what? My friend went to that show too, 3 days later. Look at that. Oh my goodness, isn't this fun? Another poster printed before the show to sell tickets for this, let's call it an ill-fated weekend, this second British rock meeting in Germersheim, you know. For one thing, much of the left hand of the poster canceled out. The Faces with Rod Stewart canceled, the Doors with Jim Morrison deceased, trying to find their new sea legs, they canceled. Even Country Joe McDonald down here canceled. It's actually the right side of the poster, it should say, that largely canceled. But Pink Floyd definitely played on. And so it's two Floyd original concert posters within 3 days. How often do you get a shot at that? That's great. And you might notice under the center graphic there, it says Mannheim, but the show was moved at the last minute to Germersheim for logistical reasons, and so that's why the poster does say Mannheim. So, boy, I'll tell you, it doesn't get any better than Pink Floyd doing Dark Side of the Moon. I don't care if it's 72, 82, or 92. My goodness, this is just such a landmark record and tour, 2-year tour, and as a result, concert poster that's lovely to have. Thanks a lot for dropping by. Appreciate your time. We'll see you next time for something soon. Bye-bye.